Well, are we starting? Oh,
begin.
Should we start by congratulating
No one can hear. Oh, you guys have. I can't
No
hear
one can
it.
ever hear.
Sorry.
the laughs?
Oh, it keeps going. Golly.
Good, it's loud.
All right.
Should we start by congratulating you and Mia for making it? Are they official? You guys are officially.
We're official.
now.
You're
Officially.
official.
I
in
hope
We have
so.
paid our registration
2
fee.
weeks.
And they paid for their hotel and everything else.
We've paid for registration, but they're still reviewing videos. No.
That would suck.
Thanks, Max.
Yeah, congratulations.
That was a fun weekend. I thought it was fun.
Mia and Brandy
Did not have fun.
a little bit stressed out.
We struggle with quarterfinals. So there's a lot of stress that we carry.
Yeah. I feel
But
like that's everyone.
it worked out.
It's tough, right? It's a weird style of competition because it's you take a test and then you submit it and you don't get a result back for however long.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. We'll tell you how you did. You know?
Yeah,
Later.
and after the actual leaderboard publishes on Sunday,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, the competition's done, but it's not really done until
No.
like all of the
Yeah.
no reps and everything else gets played out.
Yeah, I mean, no other competition is like that. Like in person, you do the workout and you're getting instant feedback on correcting a movement if the reps aren't good, et cetera. And then you get done and you know your placement like instantly.
Yeah.
This, you got to wait.
Yeah.
And it's just brutal.
It really is brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started with their congratulations, but this video was really to touch base at a really complicated part of the season because there's people that are in the age groups that are now still training for the next semifinal. There's individuals getting ready for their semifinals. There's teams that are now done and getting ready for their semifinals. And then there's all the people that have kind of finished in the season either after the Open or after the quarterfinals. So a lot of people are probably in the time of processing, and so we wanted to kind of update on where TTT is at this point of the season, and then also kind of what we're doing in training for the people that are in their off season or want to kind of, well, I guess not many people right now would be jumping into season.
Yeah, I've got a lot of people actually doing their offsite or their like in-person competitions now. So, you know, like maybe they didn't make semifinals and now they're kind of ramping up and trying to do the summer competition. So
Yeah, I didn't really even think about that, but there are people posting in the semifinal that are not going to a semifinal that are getting ready for some big comp. And
Yeah.
I guess some of these comps too also have like RX divisions and stuff, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. A lot of like running and swimming, outdoor type stuff. So I think it's a really good opportunity to take advantage of getting outside of like the general movement that you do for open and quarterfinal prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you're not doing an on-site competition this summer, if you're just ready to start your season, like your off season to build for the 2023 season, which I know seems like a long ways away. Some people are like, I just missed out on semifinals or I just missed out on quarterfinals, and you want to plan. That's what we're talking about today, what our plan is in TTT Compete.
365 days till next year's hockey tryouts.
Got to toughen up. Yep. pretty much.
Should we congratulated you to one dud. I'm just kidding. We congratulated you guys. Should we go back and you guys have a list of our people? We probably can't call them all off, but
Yeah, we
of
have
the individuals
posted,
and stuff.
The individuals are already secured.
Yeah.
So they already have their semifinal placings. We had 38 total as of now, which is pretty
Nice.
awesome to think about within the organization. That's something that is on our Instagram channel.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yes.
That
You
is
can
correct.
go and follow all those people though.
Yeah,
See what they're doing.
and congratulations.
Whatever it's called. What is it called? Instagram feed?
I don't think it's a channel.
I'll leave me
Sorry,
alone.
Continue.
I mean, we had, and then a lot of them are individual athletes. Several of them too. Like I would say almost a third of that list are from the Compete program.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And not only that, but to add that they were not semifinalists last year. We had a handful of those. So those that have they're making their debut at a semifinal this year, which that is what I'm super proud of. Like closing that gap is really difficult, and I'm really pumped to see that with people following the program.
I mean, to just reiterate, it is really hard to make a semifinal, and especially for those that have never made one before, kind of bursting through that bubble is just really, really tough. You have to refine all of these skills and be well-rounded, and so for all of them to be able to do that is really impressive.
Yep, for sure.
What
Age
else?
groups.
Oh yeah, age groups. Age groups is not official.
Not
No.
official,
Yeah, this week.
but we've got several within a qualifying
Yeah.
spot currently at the moment. Again, like one of those, we can't wait, or we can't like announce anything until it's all finalized because it's still shifting around. But a good showing there as well. And like, I think that could lead into what maybe the age group division is doing now, because that's the biggest change in the program. I think the last update video, we talked about what the individual semifinals are doing, and we talked about RX and intermediate, but just kind of maybe give a quick update on the master side of it.
Yeah, I like that. So right now, those that have qualified or they're waiting for their qualification spot, they have their own semifinal, what we'll call just like prep or peak path. So they're only a few weeks. We really have like 3 training weeks until that first weekend. And then those that are 50 plus go that following weekend. So they have 4 training weeks.
Did they just change that?
It is. That's new
Yeah.
this year.
Okay.
Why
Yeah.
are they doing that? Because it's such a small field now. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't they do that on the initial stage where it's a ton of people?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not really sure what the reasoning was, but I like
Yeah.
it. It gives them
Anyway.
a couple stages, just like you guys or just like the 34 and under individuals to do like multiple stages, the open, quarterfinals, semifinals, games. I just wish it was more than 10 people making it to the games.
Yeah.
Like it should stay at 20. I think it makes it more competitive and the field is more deep when you do that at the game level or at the games level. So they will have their own path. It's already written. So if you signed up for TDD Compete now, you could go in there and just register for the Masters semifinal peak path, and you have your own training, or those that are already in there, if they just want to check it out and see what they're doing, maybe follow one of the workouts, you're welcome to do that. You can follow along there, and that will peak for both the first weekend and the second weekend. It'll kind of split off a little bit. So I know that can get complicated for the athlete who's like, what do I do now? You would follow that path if you qualified. And then for those that didn't qualify, they just went through their age group quarterfinals. We are now going through kind of what we'll call a 3-week bridge cycle. So basically, they took a nice deload last week. I said, hey, everyone get outside, express your fitness somewhere else outside of the gym, hang out with family.
That's my favorite training. That's why I'm so good at deloading.
Max was following the Masters path last week.
What are you doing today, Mike? I'm expressing my fitness.
It really is an important time, but it's funny for people that have been in the sport. They do that for like 1 or 2 days, and they're like, I got to get back in the gym because they're so used to training hard every single day. So I tried my best to tell people to get outside and do that, decompress, relax. And then this week, we're starting back with our bridge, kind of like a micro cycle. So for the next 3 weeks, we're on our own. The Masters path is basically kind of prepping for the year. And then once we finish that, we will start to sync back up with the RX and intermediate path. A lot of the training will look similar. And one of the additions to that will be we are going to follow our own hatch cycle. So we are going to be a few weeks behind RX, but one of the things that a lot of Masters athletes have expressed is they want to get stronger, especially in the squats. It'll be slightly adjusted for the Masters athlete, but it'll be a really good time to go through a full 12-week squat cycle and test and retest.
Love a good squat cycle in the off season.
The Masters athletes that didn't qualify, some of you, it might actually make sense to follow the peaking group and actually do the next stage of semifinals if you're kind of close. I know that, you know, sometimes it's hard to get yourself up for 2 big competitions like that, but if you are trying to get better at the sport and this format stays good, I think having that exposure of going kind of max effort in a quarterfinals and then doing something very similar, you know, a number of weeks later, and having your data against the field and your data against the next, like the 55, let's say you're going to go up in age group the next year, being able to get some comparisons in more tests can really help with structuring your training over the course of the year to figure out like, oh shit, I'm really good here, but this thing came out and I got exposed. So it could be a good time for people to just do that.
Not to mention, sorry, Mike, just real quick, not to mention that the test will likely be much different. So like we kind of, you see in the open, it's a little bit more simplified. It's kind of like true engine test. Quarterfinals, a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit more complex. And we assume semifinals will look like the old age group qualifiers where it's like heavy, maybe some legless rope climbs instead of regular rope climbs.
Handstand
more
walking.
complex. So I think that's good to know exactly what you need to work on the next season.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we recommended the same thing with the intermediate path. We told some of them, like, if you're really close to making it to stage 2, we recommend that you still kind of follow through and still get that next testing body of movements done so you can kind of see where you stack against the field, and then it can guide your training a little better through the year.
For sure.
Yeah. Kind of a weird sport that you can only practice a couple times a year, even though you're doing it every day in the gym.
I mean, that's taking into consideration you feel healthy to do it.
Yeah.
Like if semifinal or quarterfinals like wrecked you and your body is just beat up, like be smart and go into the off-season phase and take care of yourself.
The last thing I wanted to mention, and those that are already following our Masters path, they've heard me say this in some of our update videos, but if you're someone that didn't qualify for a semifinal or struggled through the quarterfinals and they do not have the skills of the sport, then the other option is to go to the intermediate path right now, which I've already told some people to say, hey, go and practice your handstand push-ups, muscle-ups, toes to bar, bar muscle-ups, whatever it is that you need to work on there, and then you can come back to the Masters path as we get closer to the season.
Awesome.
RX? What's going on in RX?
So when we finished quarters, we had a kind of like what Brandon was saying. We had a bit of a transition week for a couple weeks, let bodies heal up, get out of the gym, do some different stuff. And then we started some progressions roughly a couple weeks ago. And now we're this week right now, currently we're backing off for a couple of days because we're going to push hard for 2 or 3 more weeks after this, 3 more weeks after this. Then we'll retest a lot of the strength progressions that we've been doing and we'll go into Murph.
Yes.
And so that's going to be a really aggressive deload during that week. But for now, if you're listening to this and you haven't actually started this cycle, it's a good time to jump in because we are kind of taking a breather right now and you can hop in and get into the progressions that we're doing. You got 3 more weeks to build on them. So same focus, squat cycle for those that need the strength development. We've got options and I give a lot of information in the program of how to manipulate that so that if you're a strength limited athlete, you've got a lot of good training volume that you can hit. And then there's options as well on like how to only take a little piece of that. If you're someone who's more aerobically challenged and you need more Metcon volume right now in the off season, then there's a way to just touch on the strength work a little bit. So again, like we put a lot of options in there to try and make it as individualized as possible while still following the community program. Especially with it being off season, you got to make sure that you're hitting the things that limited you from doing better in quarterfinals. And this is a good time to kind of like build that bridge into those limiters.
Yeah, to reiterate that real quick, one of my favorite things about what you're doing in the RX Path is you can go in there on a Monday and you're giving them options. I know you already said this, but just to make it clear, there is your normal squat cycle option, and then there's a bonus option for those that like, I need to get stronger. So you'll do a full hatch progression as opposed to maybe just the back squats on a Monday. And to be honest, there are a lot of people that need to get, you saw it this year in the quarterfinals, the people that need to get stronger. So it's a really good option for those people.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that we've just learned watching this. How many years have we run this program now? Almost 3 years?
4 years.
4 years. Running on 4 years. We've seen that keeping absolute strength progressions in year round has been fantastic for long-term strength development. And we're just getting smarter about like how to do it in a good way to get the mass stronger as a whole. And writing in these options has been really helpful with that. So taking the time to explain and going over like, look, like we know that if you're following all the squat progressions on one day, that's like 9 total working sets. That's a ton of volume. Someone like me doesn't need to do that. So having the ability to go in and like see an explanation of like, okay, like I know that, that's not my number one limiter I need to hit. So I'm just going to hit the first part and move on with the rest of the conditioning work.
Yeah. It's basically giving an option for like minimum effective dose for somebody that's already strong. And then it's giving you like, hey, you need to get stronger. Here's the full dose.
Yeah.
To push
The
it.
full shot.
Yeah.
Following results right now up to this point, the progressions have been great. Everyone's feeling
Awesome,
good.
yeah.
I'm getting good feedback. So I'm pretty happy so far.
And then the other thing is we are also prepping for Murph, which I think is a cool thing. Like everyone wants to do it, but most people don't prep for it and then go and do it.
Are you going to do Murph?
I did Murph last year. So
Are you going to do it
every other year?
Oh, so is that good for me too? Do I get an off year?
Kyle and I did it last year, and it was brutal. It was so hot when we did it.
Yeah,
But didn't you do it the year before? So that was 2 years in a
Didn't
row.
you take an off year last year?
Yeah, it's Max's
I thought
on
it
year.
was. Oh, it's my on year.
No, we did it COVID
Didn't
year.
we do it like in the peak heat because Kyle wanted to suffer?
That was 2
to
years ago.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You guys did it. I didn't do it.
Oh,
that year.
it's every other year. Is that the rule, or can I
Yes.
make it every third year? I think it is like a triad cycle.
Maybe everyone should vote on this. Put a comment.
I
down
vote
below.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
But-
doing it. If I do it, I'm doing it scale this year. I'm not wearing a vest. I'm doing it partitioned. I might do ring rows.
Yeah.
And kneeling push-ups.
You can scale all of it except for the run.
Okay.
You can't scale the run.
Okay.
Fair
deal.
enough.
Yeah,
So
I, mean,
for-
I like that it's in there. I think it's fun. It's a good off-season test, and it's a good time to get good volume building base work that we do. Lots of running,
Yeah.
lots of body weight gymnastics work, and it's just fun because the whole community does it. So you get a really good comparison on testing, and
For sure.
it's like hard and wrecks you and makes you sore. But I've never had anyone that's like destroyed after it in the sense that like, oh, like I really need to like let my joints rest and stuff like that. It's just if you prepare for the volume on a weekly basis, like we've been writing in, you can do it and hit a really good challenge. Take a few days off, and you're right back into your training.
Yeah. One of the things too about that I like, and we hosted a camp this week, and I had 2 people come up to me and talk about how sometimes it can be isolating if you're like the coach or the leader in your gym and you have competitive aspirations, and then your community is not competitive and can't do a lot of the skills, so they kind of feel isolated. So he was saying, the guy I was talking to was thanking us for having the remote community that he could participate in that made him feel connected.
Oh, that's awesome.
Murph, I feel like, is one of those things that goes into a competitive program that then also gets permeated all the way down through the whole community. So I feel like it has been a cool test to kind of like integrate the whole group of everybody doing every different type of program.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's super popular among the affiliates. So like, you know, all the individual athletes here do it. The gym does it. So it's just a fun time of the year where it really is like one of the most universal workouts that's tested.
This might be
one day.
a weird year because is Memorial Day like right after one of the semifinals?
Yeah.
It is one of the weekends of the semifinal.
It was
it's
last year too,
finishing in
though.
the Monday.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah, it just kind of fits into that schedule now. So for those that
Yeah.
are doing semifinals, they probably won't
Yeah.
do it. But everyone else in our program, it's a great time to join the community, as you said.
Yeah. So speaking of semifinals, we talked about it a little bit. Now we're kind of getting close. So we're 2 weeks out from when so we're 3 weeks out from the first semifinal right now. We have all of our semifinal athletes that qualified through the program were invited this weekend on site, and we're going to be doing, I guess you could call it a semifinal simulation, but we're not trying to necessarily simulate it as much as get really good quality training. So some of those tests will also be in the elite. I think we put like 60% of them in just based on what we thought people could do and what made sense. And some of the stuff we're doing here is skill based, so it can't be in the program as easily.
Most of them are covered. Like we're doing an on-site run here, but we also put in a time block for running training within the elite path. So it's very similar.
It's similar enough. So we have in our on-site group, Alexis and and Allison are getting ready for Syndicate with you guys. Sarah is going to be going into Lowlands in that first week. Travis is going to Granite Games. Jake is going to MAC. Matt Gilpin's here visiting. He's going back to Australia to go to Torian.
Yep.
Juan and Gus are here. They'll be going to Copa Sur in Brazil. Who am I missing from on-site? Anyone?
Anna.
Oh, yeah. Anna is going to Granite Games as well. And then I'm not going to go through the whole list of every compete athlete, but that's kind of what we're doing on-site. So we're sticking through the program all the way through the end of next week. And then that's where we kind of created our individual process to have a taper for every strength for each different week, and where kind of the program will start to deviate and get a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
So if I'm being honest, probably for semifinal athletes, not the best time to jump in. We're really trying to just take care of the people we got going.
Yep.
But a good opportunity, what I have noticed and what I have had people reach out to me for is that people are going into the RX or the intermediate, and because we have some of these endurance progressions and stuff built in, they've been coming in and cherry picking certain of the cyclical stuff that makes sense for them. So there is some of that stuff that could potentially be useful for people if you wanted to do it. But that's really it. All I got for semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm recommending a lot of RX athletes to do that need the longer cyclical conditioning work a couple times a week. That's lower impact but good energy system training. And we only have so much time in a day to put it within RX, and we have one session a week where we do hit some machine work. But if you need some, just like those that are strength limited, they're squatting a lot right now. You need to be doing machines a lot right now if you're on the opposite end of that spectrum.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things that we have going is there are so many options. So we have our base program. Hey, this is RX. It's going to be 90 to 120 minutes, and this is kind of what you're expected to do each day. But for those that have more time, like Max was talking about, the gym owner that maybe is training by himself, if he has that secondary session and he needs to get more enduring, he can go into the elite path. Or if you have TDD complete, you can actually go into our endurance path and then pick the workouts from there, or bodybuilding or whatever. You name the different variations that we have.
Yeah. So, and then the last, so you said something earlier that's something we learned from doing these group programs is that strength work needs to be in there. I think something that we also learned is that people need, or a lot of the people out there that want to be competitive need to get better at gymnastics. And in order to get better at gymnastics, you can't just put chest to bars in a Metcon, because if it's a 10-minute cap and somebody can only do, 3 at a time, they're only getting 15 reps in a Metcon, and they're not doing any skill work or strength work. So Mia has really kind of been the leader in developing the intermediate path and putting gymnastics progressions in depth, which we talked about a little bit in the last video, but maybe you can just talk about how the beginning of the cycle's gone, how people are liking it, what the structure looks like, and, give the people what they want, Mia.
Mouth on mic. Mouth on mic. Mouth on mic.
Oh, sorry.
Got you, Chris.
Oh, Chris is just shaking at me, so disappointed.
Yeah, so thanks, Max, if anyone could hear him. So we are in our first block of our year-long gymnastics progression, basically. This block is really focused on volume tolerance of each gymnastics movement isolated. So what it looks like is if you have chest to bars, but you're using Mac's example, you can only do 2s or 3s in a workout, then we're progressing our volume of being able to just handle, all right, can you do 30 chest to bars within a 5-minute window? All right, now can you do 40? And that's just an example, but progressing that way through this cycle where all you're thinking about is chest to bar. You're not worrying about, oh, my grip's blown up from this other movement, so I can't do it. It's just focusing on being able to tackle that skill.
Like non-fatigue state.
Only fatigued from the skill.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So only the skill itself fatigues you.
That makes sense.
Everything fatigues me.
And then the other option that is going on this cycle that's also going to go on throughout the year is what we call the Got None program. So those are pure skill work to help you get from 0 bar muscle ups to 1 bar muscle up. Yeah. So those run throughout the entire year. Got None, and then Got Some is what I had just explained with the chest to bar example, where this cycle we're focusing on non-taxed volume tolerance, and then next cycle we're going to move on to a low level of fatigue, and that's just going to increase throughout the year, leading back to the open where you're able to do these movements, these gymnastics movements under open level fatigue. So we've had a few people reach out asking, like, when does the next cycle for intermediate start? And something I keep reiterating is do not wait for the next cycle. Start now. Yeah. If you know about this or if you hear this video and you're like, oh, that's me, come in now. So you're already getting this volume tolerance work before we move into, all right, now you have to do chest to bars with rowing, which is just the next level. So you're not late. Hop in now. We're hitting all 8 gymnastics movements on a bi-weekly basis. So that's chest to bar, toes to bar, bar muscle up, ring muscle up, handstand walk, wall walk, strict handstand push-up, and kipping handstand push-up. So all those are in there. You're hitting them regularly, and we're getting so much better at it. And yep, that's my spiel.
Can we talk about how hard the intermediate throwdown workouts are right now?
The intermediate path is the hardest path of TTT Compete.
Yes.
Because, and it's not just the throwdown.
Yeah.
We're doing these.
You're so proud of this.
Yeah. I'm so proud of it. Yes, and I'm proud of everyone that's handling it.
Yeah.
So we're doing all of these gymnastics progressions. There's 4 days a week of gymnastics progressions. Therefore, we are not doing gymnastics in Metcons right now very often. Well, when there's not gymnastics in Metcons, that means that the Metcons are faster and harder and hurt more. Yeah. So
very out here.
That's gonna only be an attraction to people that really like to train hard.
They want the crack.
Like, hold on, wait, it's gonna be harder.
All right,
but to get there, you have to do the gymnastics progressions.
I will say, I can't reiterate this enough, and I know I've given Mia praise before, but the program is something that I will take semifinal level athletes and give them some of the toe to bar volume work that she's writing in there, because it's just something that's worthwhile for them in their off seasons to build that endurance, that skill endurance, so that they can take it into kind of the chaos of CrossFit, or the Got None programs, just the technical work. We had the camp this weekend, and Mia did this great breakout clinic with bar muscle ups and ring muscle ups. Those same skills that they're getting in the intermediate path, I will give to someone that's already pretty good at ring muscle ups, but it's this one little thing that they need to tweak, or this thing on the bar muscle up or handstand walk. And why not get better at all the movement patterns so that you can express your fitness a little bit better?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome. I think the intermediate throwdowns still scare me. I prefer when there's a bottleneck in a workout, because then there's an excuse to stop and slow down.
This past week's was really bad.
Yeah.
Well, do you have it in front of you?
Yeah. Talk about something else. Give me 1 second.
It was shuttle runs.
Yeah, shuttle run and
walk
rope
lunge
climb,
or something.
shuttle run, and overhead lunge.
The worst one was when they had the 2159 of muscle ups and rowing. Intermediate had squat cleans and rowing.
Squat clean and jerks and rowing. Yeah, 2159.
I put that into the throwdown, the competition leaderboard. I was like, oh.
I know. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yep, still get their fix. Yeah, so anything else on the Elite update, Masters update, RX? I think we gave a good idea of what each division is doing currently and what we offer in each one of those. So I feel like everyone should feel very confident knowing which one to choose and which plan to go with.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say now is for most people that are through the season, their season's over, and we almost always recommend people to take some time away from it, reflect, whether it's a week. 2 days for people that can't get away from it. Maybe a month or 2 months. I've seen games athletes take 6 weeks off and, then start to slowly work back into training. But now is kind of the time to start reflecting upon what you want from the next season of training. Because a huge mistake, even with intermediate athletes, is people like our most popular cycles are open prep, which is in January. And I'm like, it's too late at that point if you're trying to develop your skills. Like, yes, you can get ready, and 12 weeks of preparation is better than no weeks of preparation. But I think if you do have competitive aspirations, now is the time where you start to make a commitment to a specific training progression and try to build consistency for the next 8 to 9 months. And those are going to be the people that have success in next year. So if you are one of those people whose season is over, that's something to think about.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, come join us.
What a conclusion.
That was
Cool.
wonderful.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for listening.
All right, peace.
Surprise ending. Surprise ending.
Surprise ending.
Talk about something else.
Who won in golf? Who won in golf this morning?
Oh, fuck
Oh,
you guys.
so-
I'm turning this off.
Most boring topic ever.